I feel like you've seen a lot of, from working at startups, working at Bain and some of those different companies. What do you see in those experiences? Because it sounds like you've worked at tremendously overfunded startups, and maybe seen some of those in between. When is the proper time? When's the proper time to slow organically build, and then when's the proper time to get that do that Series A and expand.
Oy vey. Well, look,
And now we're just getting free advice from Bain.
yeah, I mean, I would say that the time to organically build is always right. Doing more with what, look, I went to school in the Midwest, right? Like if you think about, like West Coast venture capitalists, they have like these huge funds and they have to just go like, write these huge checks, right? They're investing in like relatively early stage startups where you're making a bet on, say like a team or a market. And like, you really don't, I mean, maybe this is going to be different now. This is going to be a lot different now, sorry, in 2023 and in the back half of 2022 than it was, prior, but like, big checks for maybe a 10 page PowerPoint presentation, right? In the Midwest, they're a lot more conservative. They're actually looking for, free cash flow and a path to profitability and all of that.
And
I think that
things are already profitable, right?
that kind of like practical approach to fundraising, I think, is going to be more and more kind of like central to the way that we all see the world. As interest rates continue past 0% for the foreseeable future. But I think that like canonically, until you feel like you've really gotten product market fit, just work to make sure that you actually have something that is going to allow you to solve like a big problem for folks, right? After you've done that, you raise seed money, which can be kind of like a Series A, right? I mean, it just kind of like depends on how much you need to start proving out that you can acquire customers, consistently, and with some kind of like meaningful, or consistently and hopefully profitably. By the time that you're raising a Series A or a Series B, the purpose there is to show that, hey, like this business is actually scalable, right? And you can't scale a business unless you're solving a problem for people, delivering outcomes that they really care about, that like really resolve a pain point for them, as well as like attracting new customer or bringing new customers in the door, like with consistency and at a cost or a price point per customer that you can actually live with and make money off of, right? That's the textbook answer.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think it's probably maybe a little too advanced of a question for the internship, but more and more I'm running into several of them already have a small business on the side. Maybe it's drop shipping or, but they've already got that
Yeah,
toe in
cool.
entrepreneurship, and they're thinking bigger, right?
Well, so then let me boil it down to an internship or to an answer that like would make sense for, an intern with a drop shipping business, right? Which is make sure that you have the fundamentals right before you are scaling it. Make sure that you know how to acquire customers. Make sure that your customers are having good outcomes. And, ideally, I don't know, let's say you're a drop shipper, try to orient the products that you drop ship to fill a hole in a market rather than, just kind of like competing or being some kind of Me Too offering to try to steal share from a larger player.
But why are you better? Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah. How do you add more value, right? How did you fix it better?
No,
Yeah.
like people buy painkillers. If you have a headache, you're going to go out and buy Tylenol. But if your fingers are like yelling a little bit, the odds that you're going to go out and buy Flintstones multivitamins are significantly lower than going out and getting Tylenol for that headache, right? And that's what I'm talking about when I say customer pain, things that folks like really, really need to have. That I think is fundamentally the most important part of product market fit and of like starting a business and getting it right. It's understanding who your customers and like what is their pain, right? And I mean, I guess for you in the voluntary benefit space, like this is like really understanding like that customer pain and being able to position the like products that you're selling as the resolution to that really is the whole sale,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So it's really no different when you're starting a even a technology business from scratch.
Yeah. Well, and two, there's different aspects. I think too, when you're talking about scaling, scaling's awkward no matter what you do, right? I always think of scaling, especially at the bootstrap level, as like, that guy walking up a wall in between two buildings. It's like, you're always kind of, budget sales, right? And processes, and when you outgrow them, and okay, now we've got to switch. So I think it's
Yeah.
always going to be awkward. But if you've got your processes down, if you, like you said, you've got your needs and your pain points, and I think that's, for us, I guess every business is different. But I guess when I think about scaling for us, it's more about, okay, in this contained market, do I have predictable outcomes? Great. Now we pour some gasoline on it,
Yep.
and now we just new markets, right? Because we have predictable outcomes. So let's grow it.
Yeah, but well, I guess one caveat here that's really important that I probably should have peppered in before is like you're not looking for absolute certainty here. You're looking to be like 70 or 80% of the way there. And like most of the learning is gonna come from doing, because like, doing things for the first time is inherently experimental.
Yeah, and it's managing failure after failure and managing problem after problem. So I could talk about entrepreneurship for a long time. We'll probably move on to the next.